Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm Pannon.
I'm Fire.
And I'm David.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jinx.
oh no. Aw. Well, I'm super excited this week, y'all, because we have a guest, and we haven't gotten to do a guest in a while. Mercedes, how about you give us a little intro?
Well, before we get started, we gotta do our normal stuff.
Oh my gosh, I am like off my game.
We take a week off.
We take a week off. Oh my gosh.
Laziness.
Oh. Well, if you have an idea or want to be a guest or just want to suggest someone as a guest, there's something cool you can do. That's email us at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com or
you can go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and fill out the forms on there. I've organized the email so it makes it a lot easier to go through what you guys send. It's excellent. Or
go to the Facebook page. Tell us where your thoughts. Tell us what you're working on. Join our fantastic community of cosplayers that want to see you grow, see you learn, and help you become the best cosplayer that you want to be. If you're not a big fan of Facebook, we totally get that. On our website, we do have a link to our Discord. Some amazing people are hanging out there, and we love to see what you guys are working on. And the community also is just super helpful, super chatty, and love to see what everyone's doing. While you're on the internet, if you want to support the show, several different ways that you could do that. Leave a review, share the podcast with a friend, and if you've got a few bucks, we really appreciate anything that you can send our way. If you're in a place to do so, we do have a coffee, KOFI, Cosplay Stitch, as well as a Patreon, patreon.com/Cosplay Stitch, where for $3 a month, every single episode, we give you a shout out on the show, and for $5 a month, you can join our D&D Cosplay Chronicle.
whoa.
At the time of this recording, we've got an episode coming up, and I am nervous as to what's going to happen next.
I'm
nervous-sighted.
I'm excited. I will inevitably do something stupid.
Possibly, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I usually have like a fun rejoiner for like makeup and stuff, but we were sad to see that Fox Beauty Cosmetics is having a little trouble with their website right now. So if you've gone there and tried out, like wanted to use the code and weren't able to, just give them a little time as they're getting it all set up and getting it restarted. But when it is, you can go to foxbeauty.store and use our promo code Stitch and Seam to get 10% off your purchase of all vegan, not tested on animal products. And now, Mercedes.
I was going to say, if you go to their Facebook page, just send them some love and encouragement.
Yeah, for sure.
They said that they should have it back up sometime, hopefully soon, but just kind of hit a rough spot, so they had to put it down for a little while. So, yeah. But yeah, this episode was requested by Sam in our Discord server. So I would like to introduce the topic, which is baby cosplayers. And Sam, who is one of our younger cosplayers from the Discord, go ahead and introduce yourself, dude.
Hey, everybody. I'm Sam. My brain doesn't, I'm pulling a Pannon right now. My brain doesn't work at all. Oh, no.
It's contagious.
It's contagious. The next great pandemic. Oh, no.
Oh.
The pandemic.
No. We don't need the pandemic. Oh, no. Oh, that's a thing. Oh, no. That's a thing.
You
now.
gave me a pun opening. I had to take it.
Curse you, Pannon. Anyway, so let's try that again. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam. I've been cosplaying around for, I think, 4 years now, this coming April. That's always going to, so I've been doing it kind of nonchalant. Wait, what's the word for that? It's kind of chill, building nerdy stuff in my garage. That's always pretty fun. I love big, chunky suits of armor. That's me.
Yay!
Nice.
So speaking from one baby cosplayer to another baby cosplayer, where we are at two different stages in our lives. When did you really kind of like start this thing? Like you said, it was like 4 years ago. Was there like a specific cosplay that you were like really drawn to, and you really just like, I gotta get this done?
Actually, yeah. Well, it's kind of from two different sides of a spectrum. So the first one is, if you know me, you got to know my best friend of all time. So my friend Faye, they're absolutely amazing. They've been doing cosplay for 7 years now. A lot of anime stuff, big poofy dresses. I'll probably link their Instagram in the Discord, but so they make some absolutely amazing stuff. And I think it was around 6th grade. They told me, like, Sam, I'm getting into this thing called like cosplay. I've been getting into cosplay and stuff. And they keep showing me these photos like, oh, cool. That's weird. So, yeah, so, and it kind of like, I kind of put it off as like, oh, that's a thing that people do, I guess. And I kind of like put it aside back in my brain until I think it was like, 4 years ago officially. And I saw this guy. So I was like, I think it was like slightly after lockdown started getting like opened back up a little bit. So people were going out to stores and stuff. And I see this guy. All right. I go to like, I think it was like a Walmart or something. And I see this guy. And on his face, it's not like a regular standard issue paper mask. It's a Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero mask. And I go up and I ask him, he's like, how'd you make that? That's so cool. And he tells me everything about it, and he whips out a receipt out of the back of his pocket, and he starts writing stuff down. And he gives me all these links to different YouTube channels and different stuff. It's amazing. I don't know where that guy is. I hope I find him.
If you're listening, you're awesome.
Mr. Sir, if you find this, thank you so much. You've made a mess of me. Yeah, so, and I started getting into like foam crafting at Odin Makes on Instagram and YouTube. You can find his stuff. He's amazing. I've been so it was like the first video I ever watched of his was how to make 3 different individual swords. And I made one of those swords, but I made it weird because I watched another one of his videos where he made are you guys familiar with Soul Calibur? It's like Soul Calibur at all?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's his name? Nightmare, this giant sword. Yeah, he made that. Sword. And it was beautiful. And I wanted to try that out for myself. So I bought a bunch of foam clay, wanted to try it out. I failed horrendously. And I still have that janky sword in my garage on my shelf right now. And it's been kind of chilling there for a bit. Yeah.
Hey,
so that's me.
I still have one of my first swords that I made, which was actually the ancient blade from Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, I still have my first one. I've got 2 of them. When I finally get my workshop up and going, it's going to go like this hideous cricket bat looking thing. It's going to go up on the wall. And it's going to say, we all start somewhere.
Love it.
Oh, man. Nice. Looking at it now, is at the time, as a 11-year-old kid, I was like, oh my gosh, I have a sword. It's like, as every 11-year-old would do when they're holding a sword. It's just, oh my gosh, I have a sword in my hand right now. And looking back at it, it's horrifying. It's to me, it's probably scarier than the actual Soul Calibur sword would be, honestly.
You just added personality.
So, yeah. Adding personality to it, yeah.
Definitely. So like when you're kind of planning out a cosplay, how do you plan it out? Like since we have we've talked about in the past, like back when some of us were starting cosplay, there weren't as many resources, and you've already mentioned like you've got some really great resources to go to. Are you kind of like a wing it kind of guy, or do you sit there and you kind of like plan it out and sit down and figure out what's going to be where, and how do you go about getting things ready?
So I guess it's kind of a split 50-50, honestly, because I'm taking, like, I make a plan, like, with my newest cosplay, I'm going to debut that at a FanX 2023. It's a Soundwave from the Generation 1 Transformers.
Oh my god.
I freaking love it. It's so, it's just, I was kind of raised on all the G1 80s stuff, so Power Rangers and Transformers and He-Man, even stuff like that.
Oh my god!
So I've been kind of raised on it. So it's just a big jump in my childhood, just to kind of like, oh my gosh, there's a Transformer in my garage. I'm a geek. So with that one, I spent, I think it was 2 or 3 months planning out how I was going to build it, and I was like, I'm going to need all these materials. I'm going to buy thermoplastics and all this different kinds of foam, and then I ended up using a cardboard box for the main body. And yeah, so it's mostly a lot of planning. That planning goes askew, and then I start winging it because it's just it's kind of half and half, honestly.
Totally.
So yeah, it's great.
Nice. I'm curious, like having like both of you being beginners, David and Sam. What what kept you wanting to keep doing it? Like, what was there, like an experience at your first couple conventions? Was there like just an aha moment where you're like, I just want to keep learning and doing this?
I've kind of developed this mentality in my brain, and it's that when you're at a convention, at least just for me, when you're at a convention, you dress to impress because, people at conventions are nerds and they love everything nerdy. And it's a melting pot of all these different kinds of fandoms that all come together into one big pit of anarchy. It's amazing. And so so even if you find like the most obscure out like costume that no one has ever heard of, there's going to be at minimum like 5 people, and you can quote me on this, like 5 people who know exactly who that is and want to get a photo with you because you look amazing. And the fact that like people just like to see cool stuff, so even if you don't know what it is, they're still, it's like, whoa, that sword is bigger than he is or she is. It's like, I'm going to take a photo with them because that's cool. Oh, they have LEDs everywhere. That's amazing. And it's just kind of my first ever experience with going to a convention. It was with my best friend, Brooke. We dressed up as, Fallout, Brotherhood of Steel Paladins, and my gun flew off the roof, and that was great. That was amazing. That was so much fun. Yeah, but like I walked in there, and the first thing I see is this guy like cosplaying as like Geralt from The Witcher. Like we're standing in line getting our tickets all like verified and stuff, and we were just chatting up a storm about Fallout and stuff, and it was probably the best experience I've ever had, honestly. With another nerd that year, at least. It keeps getting better.
You weren't even in the convention yet. You were in line. I love that.
I was in line, and just like I saw all these different people, and I'm pretty sure that year I was the only person who did a suit of power armor, and that was just amazing. That was just, if you dressed up, if I saw someone in a vault suit, they immediately recognized me, and they ran up and they wanted a picture, because it was just like, oh my, this is like a revelation, mind blown moment. You just kind of realize, whoa, there are people like me, and they think I'm cool. Whoa, that's awesome. So yeah, that's my spiel.
I think for me, a lot of it comes down to of like, this is a hyperfixation for me, not necessarily the cosplay, but like Hollow Knight. Freaking love Hollow Knight so much, and I want more people to know about it. And I find cosplay is a really great way to help expose people, especially if you're doing like a big grandiose thing. One of my first builds that I did was Michael Carpenter from the Dresden Files, and not enough people talk about the Dresden Files, and I wanted to be like one of the best characters out there and talk about it. And that's like one of my main reasons to do something, is because I want to share my excitement with people who may not know about it and want to ask questions. Also, I want to impress not only my friends by saying like, look at the cool thing that I did, but I also want to impress myself by looking down and going, oh, look at the cool thing that I did. I didn't think I could do that a year ago, and look what I have accomplished in that time. So there's this kind of like self-bragging rights to myself of, hey, I look at the cool things that I did and I learned. And I really like my phone will show me like, hey, do you remember when you were doing X, Y, and Z on this day? And it will show me like when I was working on the Hollow Knight cosplay and I failed on the helmet. And it was like, oh yeah, I remember being absolutely devastated when I couldn't figure it out. And, it's a mark of pride for myself, because it's like, oh, I failed. And I allowed myself to kind of be sad, be angry, and then sit down and go, okay, I have a deadline. I need to get this done. How can I do this differently? And it was a great learning opportunity for me. It's a hard game, and it's one of those things that if I put in my head, if I can beat the game, I can do anything. And that's kind of how I've been doing cosplay now at this point, of like, if I can build this cosplay, I could do anything. Maybe not sewing, but
you'll get there. You get there.
One day.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. Let's see. Well, 2 questions. First of all, Pannon, you started when you were a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And this question goes towards you too, then, because it'll be fun to like compare and contrast the like differing time periods for, when you were a teen ages ago. That sounded mean.
Oh no!
I mean,
oh no!
Can you tell me what the
Mercedes.
dinosaurs were like? That,
No!
Horrible
Oh
I
no!
did walk the earth with dinosaurs. That is a
Oh.
verified fact.
The thing
Yes,
is, like, I did too.
Little do
I'm
we
not
know,
that
Panon
much
has been
far
longer
behind.
than time itself.
I have.
I'm not
That's
that far
true.
behind you, though. I feel terrible now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Compare and contrast.
Oh no!
Like
I'm
the
so
beginnings
offended.
of cosplay in Utah versus like the rise in it and the height of it right now. Like, I'm terrible. Okay, but like as a child and a teenager, how do you guys work around budget and crafting spaces? Because like I started as an adult doing this. I did, live at my parents for a while, but I had my own job and my own space in the house and things like that. But what about you guys? How do you handle that?
Oh boy. You're asking me to remember like eons ago.
Oh no!
yes, the sun had done its first rise on the earth.
Yeah. And I was already made like 3 different cosplays.
As the single cellular organisms were beginning to emerge, Panon was sitting at her table, just cranking out fabric, just sewing machine.
I had
More
already-
JoJo's.
It's just the stitches. I gotta get this con crunch before cons were a thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those cave paintings are just like my cosplay mock-up, like pattern drawing.
Oh no!
Anyway, yeah, so I have had a lot of different like experiences as far as like cosplay like storage and like making time and things like that. I wish it were like back in the day when I was still in school and had a lot more time to work on cosplay and a lot more spoons, but I don't. But back in the day, I would admit that I would like pinch stuff out of my mother's sewing closet and just kind of like raid that for whatever scraps I could find. And I used her really old like Singer machine. And for storage, like I had enough closet space that I could just like stuff it in the closet with everything else. I didn't really do any like big armored builds for a while. Like I want to say I was a little ways in. I started making like big props when I started doing like Tsubasa and Seymour from Final Fantasy X had those like big staffs. And so unfortunately I found out the hard way that they don't all store super well. And because one of those crashed and was sad.
Aww.
Yeah, that's okay. And that storing in the garage somewhere like Utah, you get a lot of variance in temperature that you need to consider. Because if you leave your foam props out in a hot garage in 100-degree weather, you'll come back later and all the pieces will have stuck together like a bowl of old candy.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, no.
So I learned a lot of hard lessons that way. How about y'all?
What about you, Sam? Like, what's kind of the process of like getting the materials? What stuff? How do you go about that?
So for me, it's I'm trying to think through this. Oh man, Mercedes sent me the list of everything like 2 days ago, and I've been poring over it, like all the questions and stuff, and I just blanked. Oh no! But for like I said, like as I said before, it's like I take all this time planning stuff out, and I'm crunching. I'm just doing all the stuff. I'm feeling really really good about myself, and then I realize that I have no more foam in my garage, and I was like, oh no! And then like I have to go through like the emotional like how to phrase this, like the emotional trauma that comes with taking an old project and salvaging it for something new, which is just really sad to me. But like it must be done, I guess. So like kind of I use up what I have. I know what I need to buy. When I need more, I go buy some more. If I can't buy some more at the moment, I just salvage and like if you look at Soundwave, if you look at like my Instagram and stuff, if you zoom up on his shin where it connects to the boot, there's like a little panel right next to it on like the left and right sides. And if you zoom up on that, that is a piece of my Halo ODST armor that I stripped down and repainted and 3D printed stuff onto just to add detail.
Nice.
Recycling,
And-
yeah.
Recycling is great. So yeah, just kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work. Storage is kind of getting a problem too, which is where kind of like I'm really happy with myself right now, is because I've reached a level of quality where people want to buy my stuff now. Like like if you look at the Discord and stuff, my friends Carter, Bridger, and Bridger's little brother Bronson are all commissioning me to build their Comic-Con costumes, and they're all pretty detailed, really fun costumes. And that's just been a lot of fun for me, just kind of like figuring out like, oh, people want to buy this stuff now. I can like not make make income, like not like a good income for funding my project, because I don't have a job at the moment because school and stuff. It's great. So yeah, yeah.
So for budget and whatnot, do you just like make a deal with your parents with like chores and stuff? That's what I would do.
So it's not kind of, it's like, this is like a $15 a month, basic stuff, and this is like, okay, I need to go do this, like lawn mowing and stuff like that, basic teenage summer jobs, stuff like that. And then like most of my income right now is through like small like odd jobs for cosplay and stuff, like Bridger's his Purge Trooper, Carter's Batman, those are all like $150, and that's like enough to fund like one of my costumes, and like that one costume takes me like 4 or 5 months, so I'm kind of held over for a bit. I have all my tools and stuff, so it's mainly just foam, paint, and glue, and that's not super expensive because I'm what some people would call scum of the earth, and I use Harbor Freight floor mats as my main source of foam. Like still.
That's not scum of the earth. That's prime foam work right there.
prime foam work.
That's where I get all mine.
Oh man. Oh no. But yeah, that's my thing.
Me, Mercedes, you didn't talk about yours.
Mine?
Yeah, you're getting started experiences.
Well, I wasn't a teenager, so I don't count.
Oh my gosh, get out of town.
What? This is baby cosplayers. We were all a baby at one point.
We were all a baby cosplayers, yes.
You can be a baby in your 20s.
You're one of us too. You're one of us too.
I have one of those arsenic and cyanide hats that says I'm baby on it, despite almost being in my 4th decade of life.
Oh no.
I should get one of those.
I'm still baby, it's fine.
We're still baby. We're still learning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, it was, like, in my parents' house, they have how many rooms are in that house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bedrooms. There we go. 5 bedrooms, 5 kids. So my sisters and I would often share a room, whether it's with one of them or both of them. It depended on who was still living at the house and who wasn't, kind of thing. And I gotta say, they were patient with me. Because as far as like storage space and whatnot went for me, I had a bookshelf in the hallway outside of my room. The hallway went to nowhere, so it didn't matter that I had stuff in it. It just went to the underneath of the stairs, where I also had a dresser full of costume stuff. And then the, what is it called? The bookshelf. There we go. It wasn't really a bookshelf. It's just a fancy curvy shelf, so it wasn't even like super functional. My sister now has it at her place, and she puts her fancy drinks on it. It's very cool.
Very, very cool.
But it held all of my cosplay supplies, and anytime I was like, oh, I really want to try making this thing, my dad would be like, well, you can try it with this tool, and he would show me how to use it safely so I wouldn't hurt myself, and then I'd go and use it however I thought was best. He probably should have monitored me a little bit more. I used my siblings as clamps.
Oh no.
That is not safe.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
Do not do that.
Physically pains me.
Yeah, they would sit on one end of the board on the table outside, and I would be on the other end trying to like saw out the shape of whatever I was making, and they'd get covered in sawdust, and I'd be covered in sawdust, and we look back fondly on it and laugh. I at least hope that they do. But don't do that. Get actual clamps. Don't use your siblings.
Indeed, please do that. Safety is of the utmost importance.
Yes. And I didn't have like a ton of like resources online to pull from, so a lot of it was just me winging it.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised I didn't get hurt more than I should have. So,
I actually have kind of a question regarding that. Like, everyone says there's so many like tutorials and so many resources nowadays, and I almost wonder, like, for newer cosplays like you, Sam, does that feel like overwhelming, or is it like really helpful, or is it kind of hard to like sort out what's useful and what's not? How have you found that?
So how do I say this? I'm trying to word this in a way that makes sense because my brain's going at a million miles an hour right now.
Welcome to our nightmare.
Like, oh no, is like being like, like the infantile like baby cosplayer that I am, growing up in an age where like the first thing I ever bought was like fast drying foam clay, and like foam dowels have just like
I would have killed for those.
Like, oh man, like it's like because I'm currently going back and re-listening to like all the older episodes. Like Single did like I think I'm on episode like 43, I think, and I was like, I've never heard of Wonderflex. What's that? And then I realized that like, and like I'm hearing about all this stuff. It's like using there's like all these like older techniques that I've never heard of, and I've actually started using because they're super, super useful. And it's just like, it's amazing because, you guys are the pioneers of our modern culture, I guess.
I'm glad my Jurassic period advice is useful to you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But, and like with like stuff on like YouTube and Instagram and stuff, it's trying to remember my words that I was talking about. Words. Whoa. Oh man! Oh no! But oh my goodness, I can't remember for the life of me. Oh yeah, sorry. YouTube, Instagram, social medias, yes. But it's like finding stuff like that. It's just like you have all these amazing makers. Like Bill and Brittany Duran at Punished Props, Stephen Smith at SKS, like Kamui, because like David. You talk about Kamui a lot. I've been following Svetlana stuff for as long as I can remember because her and Benny are absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's just like there are so many of these resources that I don't really have a problem with them. In fact, I want more to come in because it's like I need to, because like I love to like spiderweb my information. I take one thing, like, I can use it. I can use this here, and like because I did a clicker cosplay with Faye, and so they cheated Ellie. I did a clicker, and. Like, because I watched Stephen K. Smith's tutorial on how to make a clicker mask. Thank goodness that was there because, I did not know what I was doing. And I printed off the template and I made it. And then I realized, like, wait, I don't have any foam clay right now. And I looked at different tutorials on how to simulate a welding for, like, Iron Man suits and stuff, and people using hot glue and, like, Mod Podge. And I said, like, I can manipulate that to being, like, a fungus texture. And I did it, and it turned out amazing. It's probably one of my favorite photo shoots because it looks nasty, and it's kind of like taking all these different bits of information, Frankensteining them into one big monstrous creation that sits in my garage. It's amazing. I love being a Gen Z in the cosplay world. It's great. It's fun.
It's, like, speaking of though, because I've been on like obsessively on TikTok. It's a problem, but no. I noticed.
Come back to us.
No, it's really interesting though, because I noticed like some of the earlier cosplay knowledge is getting lost, or like some people are just barely finding it. Because I'm seeing all these newer cosplayers going like, I just like tried this and I found out this technique works, and I'm like, we've known about this since like the 90s. But the information isn't always out there, and sometimes things get lost. So I'm glad that like those techniques are still people are discovering them on their own, but also like I'm glad people are sharing that knowledge a lot more. And gosh, TikTok is such a time drain, but it's really fun.
It's so great. I think there's definitely a lot of like supportive communities out there right now. Like when we do look at the Odin Makes, the Punish Props, Kamui, they're all trying to do the same thing and inspire you. And then like most of the videos nowadays are just that. Like, this is how I did it. I may not be the way that other people do it. And I think that's a big important piece. I think also one of the things that like it can get trepidatious is like the risk awareness of what Kamui might do. And another cosplayer might say, ooh, I'm not a big fan of how they handled that. I would do things differently. And that can be, I think that's the most contention I've seen in like the online big cosplayer name field of just like, well, this person used this type of material and they didn't have a mask on. And that's not what I want to see. So I'm just going to remind everyone to wear a mask. And then maybe that'll bring attention to that cosplayer. Like, oh yeah, I should be wearing a mask. I recognize that this is my health. Please stay conscious and aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, I like that.
And remember, kids, don't drink the hot glue. Don't be safe.
Gosh.
Please, for the love of love of Prime, please just be safe. Oh man!
Don't put it directly on your skin.
Don't do that either. No.
Don't be focused on something else, and you're squeezing the hot gun, and suddenly you're like, "Why is my hand hot? Oh gosh, I did that the other day."
Why do I smell bacon? Yeah, please be safe.
I was like, "Man, that really hurts." There's hot glue on my hand.
Oh man!
Please do
so
that.
Speaking of hot glue in particular, this is just like a short tangent, but I was making like fingerless gloves for another cosplay, and to do that, I had like just gone to like Harbor Freight and gotten some cheap like work gloves, and then cut the fingertips off and finished the edges. But I kept the fingertips because they're also really good for when you're working with hot glue and you don't have those like silicone fingertips, or even if you're pulling needles through, because they have really good grips. So
that's great.
Awesome. That's
randomly reminded me of that. Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of random tangents, sounds like you've gotten to try a lot of fun and interesting materials, and like foam clay, working with hot glue. What's been your favorite?
Oh, in the wise words of Evil Ted Smith, foam. Just foam. Just
I love foam.
Quote foam, unquote. It's just that. Just foam. It's amazing. I love it so much. Because there's
do a lot.
it's really versatile. It's sturdy. I did a thing where my ODST costume, we tried to me and some friends from school tried to make a mini movie out in the woods behind my friend's behind my friend's his house. And I was doing like flips in that thing. I was like jumping over rocks and stuff. And I actually ended up tripping and I slammed my elbow into a tree and I thought I dislocated it. But like, and like the whole thing with the suit, it was fine. Like there wasn't a single wrinkle on the suit and it was beautiful. And I loved it so much because it's like it bounces back. It's flexible because it was all like, plaid craft paint. So, it was all flexible. And yeah, it's just an amazing material. It's super versatile. Easy to work with, Carter, my friend Carter. He's learning how to do stuff like that, and me and him working on his Batman costume. He's made a lot of progress and stuff. Because when he made Green Goblin, I had to like take the wood burner away from him because I was afraid he was going to do something. And now he's like he's doing stuff because his whole realm is 3D printing and stuff and. He's been learning really, really well, and foam is super easy. You can kind of pick it up, and it's just like you pick it up from Harbor Freight, and you look at it, and you look at the foam, and you just say, "You could be so much more than you are." It's like inspirational pep talk to an inanimate object, but
like ancient marble statues when they were like, "This block will someday be the statue of David."
Oh no! Yeah.
Grab my 4-piece floor mats.
I'm imagining in my brain. It's just my goodness. It's like Pablo Picasso looking at a blank canvas and says, "Yeah, I can work with this." It's great. It's beautiful material. I love it. Good.
I'm curious, David, since you have a few more years under your belt with that, Has your favorite changed since you started cosplay? Do you still like using the same materials that you started with, or has that evolved?
It definitely has evolved. I would say that I still love prop making. I think that's been my main focus. We talked about
Same
it
here.
on our New Year's resolutions. Like props are just so much fun. I'm looking at like different props that I want to work on now, like the Dragon Slayer from Berserk. It's like
Ooh, yes,
they're-
yes, yes, please,
they're
yes.
all just staring at me right now. But I would definitely say that like the materials that I have changed because I started with expanding foam and carving that down into shape to cardboard and poster board and now foam. And hopefully in the near future, more 3D printing stuff. So I would say that like as I've grown my own skills, I don't want to get complacent and I want to continue challenging myself because that's my big thing is like this hobby and opportunity for me is to challenge myself and to learn more.
Nice.
So for me, yeah, I would definitely say that I like the medium has changed, but the end result is still a nice giant prop and a tiny little cosplayer holding it.
Oh yeah.
Big swords.
I kind of want to do a follow-up question for Sam with that. What material or what technique are you most excited to learn that you haven't tried yet?
I'm really interested in learning how to use my goodness, I forgot the word. The heat up Worbula.
Oh, nice.
Thermoplastics.
Yeah, because I've been looking at a lot of Kamui stuff, and she's like, her and Benny do like a lot of 3D printing, a lot of foam work, but their thermoplastics is just absolutely gorgeous. And because foam is not perfect, ripped seams and popped edges and things not lining up properly, but you slap some warble on that thing and it is clean and pristine and absolutely gorgeous. You can just I really want to learn Warbler. Just the thing is I have no idea how I'm going to use it. That and LEDs. I really want to learn how to do LEDs because I'm a nerd. I like Transformers. Yeah, deal with it. They turn into cars, and there's police cars and semi trucks and
fighter jets
and fighter jets, and so there's like a lot of
dinosaurs.
Lights and stuff, Dinosaurs is a literal cassette player.
Yeah,
there's a lot of buttons and flashing bits and a lot of like electrical stuff. That just sounds so much fun to me.
Me and Optimus Primal were bros, so.
Oh man, I wasn't even alive for Beast Wars, and that
Oh my gosh, I just withered and died. Just like Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom skin melt off my face.
The skin melt. Oh no, passes away. Disintegration.
Rapunzel's mom just dust in the wind.
Falls out of a window and disintegrates. Oh no.
So when you were talking about like kind of the experiences that you've had to have at this point, Sam, do you have any advice for people who are getting started? What would you tell them based off of your experiences?
Honestly speaking, to everyone who knows how to make Sub-Zero masks, put it on, walk around Walmarts looking for lonely, desperate children. And that sounded weird. Don't do that. Don't be weird. No, don't be weird with it. No, just kind of like be kind of an inspiration to them, and just to people, and just like show off your stuff because people want to see stuff. I have my friend Tate, his little brother David is like, I think he's 11 years older now. He loves the Clone Wars. I love the Clone Wars. And he, with all his heart, wants to do a Captain Rex cosplay. And he has no idea how to do it. But I told him about foam and stuff, and he still hasn't done it. But he wants to do it, and just kind of be an inspiration. Like even if if you really want to get into something, go to Harbor Freight, grab a 4-pack of floor mat foam, and just pick it up. And just you can be so much. I believe in you. Just pick it up and give it the hype speech. Because I'm trying to quote Evil Ted Smith again, but I can't remember the quote exactly. And it's I forgot what the thing was. Oh my goodness, the words that coming out of my mouth are not the ones I wanted. And anyways, it's the thing with commissions and stuff, and it's if you commission it, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way you wanted it to be. If you build it yourself, it's going to be perfect, kind of. It's going to be it's going to be what you want it to be because you can change it, you can fix things, you can make it your clone trooper, your Batman, your Transformer, your giant sword, berserk sword. It's all about you, and you have to believe in yourself and make that first step into this disastrous world that we call a hobby.
Love it.
Nice.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Nice.
I'm gonna have that quote inscribed on my tombstone because that was the greatest thing I've ever said. That came from the heart. Oh no.
That's what we want. That is it. So conversely, advice to beginners. What advice would you give to like longtime cosplayers? Whether they're like thinking of getting out of the habit, whether they're like, I don't know, just needing inspiration. What would you say to them?
Like some people have kind of a weird thing that they do, and it's they believe that cosplay is a lifestyle when really it's just the world's nerdiest and most awesome hobby because you can put it down. It's just it's a giant suit of armor sitting in your basement, and sometimes you put it on, you walk around and meet several other people who have giant suits of armor in their basements, and it's a fun thing to do. It's just a hobby. And like if you're feeling stressed about putting it down, it's like, oh, I don't want to put it down. Like you can put it down. You can always come back to it. It's sitting in your basement. You can come and fix it up, go and print some more parts for it. It like the cosplay grind never ends, but it can be paused for specific longer moments in time.
That is really good advice, actually. I'm like listening to that going,
Take notes, put it in your binders. I'll make an inspirational, make like a cat hanging from a tree poster, except you put that block of text on there, hang it above, have a picture of me with that text underneath it, hang it on your ceiling, and then fall asleep at night staring at my face. I don't know.
Nice.
My beautiful advice.
Okay. No. I'm curious too. What is on your dream cosplay list? What are like the ones that you're just dying to try?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I've been waiting to tell someone about this for thousands of years. I've been waiting to tell someone about this since longer than you've been alive, in fact. It's just like I was just kind of sitting there and just like, yes, I want to do it. So, I've always loved Transformers, but like one of my hyperfixations isn't on specific things. It's on character design and like specific character design. Because like growing up, me and Faye, we like I forgot what the thing was. Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, I'm cringe. Deal with it. I'm cringe.
It's not cringe. I love Five Nights.
Embrace the cringe.
Erase the cringe. Yeah, but
one of my favorite cosplays.
What is his name? It's the
Freddy?
Giant green. What? No, it's the giant green bunny suit. What's his name? Springtrap. It's a decaying carcass inside of a giant suit of metal, and it's like it's awesome because it's a horror design. The aspect is just a bunch of little parts and like nightmare animatronics from FNAF 4. They have mouths on their stomachs, and it's awesome. It's so cool. Like everything like mechanical, I'm in love with. And my dream cosplay that I've always wanted to do is if you go back and watch the movie that no one has ever watched since 2009, and you watch Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and you look at Megatron, like Big Bad Megatron.
Oh, I know.
From that movie, it is a million teeny tiny little parts. He has like treads on his feet, turns into a tank, big old like arm cannon. Scary little nimbly fingers. His face is just so freaking scary, and I love it. And it's like the thing is like it's either that design or the one from the third movie because me and my friends call it like it's the poacher mobile. He turns in this big old rusted out semi truck with like oil tanks attached to it, and it's all like chains and scraps of fabric, and it's scary to look. I'll link photos in the Discord, but it's scary to look at, and it's awesome because. It's like has the big old shotgun, and I love just big hunking things. It's like big old, like I never really liked skinny type suits of armor. It's just those big hunking things, and the fact that like it's not a Transformers cosplay unless it's bigger than like the people around you. which is why I'm pretty sure Soundwave, like I'm 6'4". Yeah, I'm weird. Also deal with it. Yeah, so I'm a giant, and like I have 2-inch platforms, like the big Harbor Freight foam floor, like kneeling pads on my feet. Got 2 of them there, and the helmet also increasing my height by an inch. I'm like 6'7" in that suit, and like I've seen like the Universal Studios costumes, and like there's people on stilts, and I've always just like wanted to do something with a million teeny tiny little parts that just looks awesome, feels awesome. Just like when when you see those guys in the movies, you see like all the little pieces moving around when they talk. You see them like transform. There's pieces coming out of other pieces, replacing parts and moving around. And there's like the pistons on his back. It's awesome, and it's so cool. I'm a nerd. Yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, I think it's so fun to hear from all the different cosplayers we talk to, like what inspires them, what makes them go like, ooh, I need to make that, or ooh, I want to like dig in and just study every piece of this.
Big robot.
Yeah.
Big robot.
Very cool. Well, Sam, do you want to give like a shout out to your social medias, any creators, any what you got for us?
So you can find me on Instagram at propbot007. It's all lowercase, propbot007.
Yeah, James Bond.
And you can James Bond. I didn't actually think about that when I made my account, but yeah, that's the thing. I didn't actually think about that. I just numbers. Then you can find my best friend Faye. You can find their stuff over at ScrippyBcause. That's SKRIPPE_BEE_cause. You can check out their amazing stuff. Wait, you guys went to Anime Town, right? You guys went to Anime Town?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you see a girl dressed in a Sailor Moon wedding dress?
Yes, I did.
That was
nice.
Cool.
Very cool.
And her, so she went to the DI and bought a quote unquote divorce wedding dress for like, I think it was $35 and like specced it out with hot glue and like Hobby Lobby ribbons and stuff. And it turned out awesome.
That's awesome.
And she wore that, like they wore that, and it was awesome. And you can, at Odin Makes, at at Chinbeard for Punish Props, at SKS Props, at Kamui Cosplay, I think.
Nice.
Oh, and one more at the Regular Sauce. I've recently found their stuff. Five Nights at Freddy's is a cool and big robots. It's so cool. It's amazing. I love it. It's great.
Well, recommendation for you.
Thank you so much.
As far as Five Nights at Freddy's go, you should look up Platcat and Game
Platcat. Oh, their Roxy was so cool.
Oh my gosh.
It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was
I got to see their latest ones up in person at Level Up.
Wait, wasn't there a Monty? I feel like there was a Monty. Was there a Monty?
Yep, Monty and Roxy.
Nice.
Rockin' Monty and Roxy.
And the Regular Sauce was there with his he was there with Freddy, right? His Glamrock Freddy. He was there, right?
Freddy was not able to make it. He wasn't able to make it.
No. Yeah. Immense, large amounts of sadness.
So Sam, one more question for you. I know you're a beginner, but do you have a horror story that you want to share with us?
All right, horror everybody, say it with y'all at home. Say it with me now. Horror stories. Spooky, spooky, spooky. Thank you, David. I love you. Thank you. That was beautiful. Oh no, I've made a mistake. Beautiful. I knew this was gonna happen, but I didn't know which one I should do because I have two big ones. Because I shared the one about the gun flying off on the podcast. They're both kind of short. Should I do both of them? Because they're all both kind of small.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so like last year I did a Dr. Octopus cosplay. It was a lot of fun. Four big mechanical tentacles sticking out of the back, and it was awesome. And it was really hard to kind of move around and see what I was like, see what was going on. so I was kind of like walking around taking, and I think I was at an artist's booth at Artist Alley buying clothing, and I see this little like 8-year-old kid like come up to me. He's like I think he's standing like 20 feet away. He's like he's holding his mom and dad's hand. It's like, oh my gosh, Mom, it's Dr. Octopus. And he looks at me and like his whole family is like, I think it was him, his mom and dad, and like I think it was either his little sister or little brother. I couldn't really tell. They're wearing a Spider-Man suit. And I took a photo with them, and it was really, really cool. And I gave him a fist bump. And then I turned, because like the little kid didn't, I had sunglasses on, 4 big scary tentacles. They didn't really want to take a photo with me. And yeah, so I turn around and I give the little kid a fist bump, and they start crying and they run away. They run away. That's not where it stops. So they run away and they bang into a wall. They walk into a wall. Just like Mach 10, 0 to 60 in half a second, slam into a wall. And you can I swear, the whole convention stood still and look at this kid. You could hear the reverberations echo through space. And it was so sad. The kid was okay though. The kid was okay. That was fun. And then the second one, it's kind of more like, at conventions, people look out for other people. Like my first convention as a Fallout, there's this guy in like medieval Crusader armor, and every time I would see him, we did a thing where I would like kind of like a fist like on my pec twice, and then the peace sign, and we would both do that every time we saw each other, and it was so much fun. But there's this guy, and I was like, in Artist Alley, there's this guy, and he has some absolutely amazing artwork. I forgot his Instagram. I'll find it I'll put it in the Discord. But I bought this, teenager voice crack. Sorry, David. Oh, no, but, oh, man. So I was buying his stuff, and the guy kind of like next to him, I don't think he was having a really great con. No one was really buying his stuff, and it was like this kind of like artistic, like a watercolor, like a Van Gogh Starry Night style art stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're all like prints and stuff. Wasn't like any like original like artwork and stuff. It's all prints and stuff. And I don't think he wasn't having the best time. And it was kind of sad. And 4 big mechanical tentacles. I can't see anything because I have sunglasses on, and they extend out of my back, so can't see anything. And I knock over a display stand. And he gets mad, and I pick it up. I was like, "Sorry, sir," and he kept kind of like bombarding me, and it was really kind of sad. And then this guy walks up, and then this guy was dressed as Master Chief, helmet on and everything, and he looks at the guy and says, "You quit it now," and is like pointing at him, "You stop," and this is like. And I was like, I was saved by Master Chief. It was amazing. And it was a thing.
Master Chief's demanding presence.
Master Chief's demanding presence, pointing at the guy as, "You, stop it." And it's like, I took a photo with him. This is like, he was a really nice guy. So that is my horror story. Spooky story. I'm never letting go of that joke. It's so funny.
Well, our lovely listeners at home, if you want to share your horror stories or just give a shout out, tell us how you're doing, you can do that at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com
or you can go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and fill out any of the forms there. Or
go to the Facebook page. While you're on the Facebook page, let us know what you're working on. Join our fantastic community. And if you're not a big Facebook fan, we do have our Discord. Find that link on our website. And if you want to support the show while you're on the internet, there are many different ways that you can do that. Leave a review, share it with your friend. These are the greatest and easiest ways and cheapest ways to support us. But if you have a few bucks and you are in a good place to support us and help keep the lights on for our website and our hosting fees and online recording and all that stuff, we do have a Ko-fi, KOFI Cosplay Stitch, and a Patreon. And some of the amazing patrons that we need to thank, welcoming Cynthia Eve Cosplay and Starfetcher, and including Mace, Tim Yoke, Wanderboy Cosplay, Troff Cos, Lydia, Rose Does, Yggdrasil, Dr. Steggy, James Donaldson, Cynics, Riku, Rena Mira, Jazzy Kofed, Jaguar Queen, Gloria Shoe, Sudi, Stock H, and Silver
Deeds. Y'all don't know how long I've been waiting to do that.
Oh yeah.
Achievement unlocked. Oh no.
Was okay. It was okay. Thanks as always to Macy Roberts for the use of her music as our theme song, and to David Jeffers for his amazing editing. Sorry if we made this episode hard on you. Tell us a little about your podcast, David.
Well, if you enjoy comic books and you like talking about the meat of it all, go to Comic Trades Monthly, where me and my friend talk about just that. What's the meaning of Spider-Man flying between building to building? This month, we will be talking about Neil Gaiman's adaptation of the Graveyard Book, the story of a small child who was raised by ghosts in a graveyard. Very fun, very macabre, and I love it so very much. Speaking of macabre, speaking of dark and spooky, are you enjoying The Last of Us, the TV show, or did you enjoy the video game? Well, then you may enjoy The Last Voice, an audio drama that I created, I voiced, I wrote, I directed, I did all the things, and then I've invited some amazing people to be voices on that. So if you enjoy kind of the audio drama style, go check that out.
You should. It's real good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, question.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
I try to like always get the theme of the episode into the pun, but it doesn't always happen. And I had to do this one because it made me laugh.
Okay.
So, why do cows have hooves instead of feet?
Why?
They lack toes.
I'm dead. I have passed away. Hee-hee-haw. Hee-hee-haw.
Were you moved by that one?
Oh,
No. Heaven.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.
Go to the Facebook page. Tell us where your thoughts. Tell us what you're working on, and join our fantastic community. Join our fantastic. Oh wow! Okay, here we go.